You know you're short when people ask you how short you are instead of how tall you are? Yep, that's my case. And when you meet people staring at you like you were a freaking landmark, then they're saying, "You're so short. Why are you so short?" Like it is your fault that you wasn't born with those genes that makes you tall. Bro, no one chooses their height for God's sake. I've been short for my entire life. In first grade, I was the shortest pupil in my class. When I started fifth grade, I was still one of the shortest in my class. Guess who was the shortest in my class when I started sixth grade? Me! Throughout junior high, it should not be a big surprise when I tell you that I was one of the two shortest students in our class. I hated being short, especially when people my age compared themselves with me and bragged about their height like they were worth more because of their extra centimeters. I also got a lot of comments on my height, such as, "Look at your tiny shoes. I used that size in like 6th grade. Are you really 16? I thought you were 12. You're tiny for your age to be. When I was your age, I was much taller. Come here, you cute little." How is it like being so short? You're too short. I need help from a taller person. Oh my god, you're even shorter than my little sister or brother. You look so much younger. If that was meant as a compliment, I suggest you come back in a decade or two. When I was younger, I looked forward to when I was going to become taller than my mom's childhood friend, but sadly, that day never came. I got frustrated because I couldn't buy the same clothes and shoes as my friends, and that decreased my self-esteem. In order to make me feel better, my mom told me it was worse for boys and that I could just use high heels when I got older. She told me the story of how she was ashamed of being one of the tallest in her class when she was my age and that she wished that she was shorter. She also made me reflect upon, would you rather be 167 and poor? It is what's inside your head that matters, she used to say. Eventually, I decided to not waste more energy on thinking about a small thing I couldn't do anything about, and instead, I started focusing on the changes I can do. And now, I'm 17 and I've given up the hope of growing taller. Me myself is 156, not extremely short, but still way below the average height for Norwegian women. Luckily, now as I've grown mentally, I've accepted my height and understood that if the fact that I am shorter than average is the thing I keep worrying about, I really don't have anything to complain about in life. Except from the fact that I can't reach up to the highest shelves at the grocery store, I have to ask for help when plugging in the charger that hangs down from the ceiling at school, I have to buy my clothes in the children's section, and I struggle with finding pants that doesn't leave 2 kilometers extra fabric around my ankles when I try them on. Being short isn't that bad. I mean, there are so many advantages of not being tall. You always have enough space. Imagine that you were 2 meters tall and sitting on a bus or plane for hours where it isn't a lot of space in front of you. That must be quite uncomfortable, right? But since you're only 160, 150, 140, or whatever you are, you have just enough space to stretch out your feet properly. You never have to worry about crashing your forehead in door frames. I live in an old house where all the door frames and second floor are low as if they were made for me. When my friends are visiting me, they must bend over while I can just go directly through without worrying about crashing my head in it. You can often buy clothes and shoes on sale. If you're stingy like me, you'll probably notice that the medium sizes get knocked out first, which means that only the smallest and biggest sizes are left for sale. You look younger. This one only gets useful after you have reached the age of 25-ish. The older you get, the more useful this will be. You can buy cheaper tickets for public transport attractions, etc. It doesn't work forever. If you're cynical enough, taking advantage of the community this way is an efficient way to save money. And it works. People who look older than they are doesn't have the benefit of sneaking into a bar and order a drink because it requires valid identification, but the person that sits in a box office at the amusement park cannot prove you're older unless him/her knows you. In addition, if you're a girl, there are a few more advantages. You can use high heels without being associated with a giraffe. Most boys like girls that are shorter than themselves, which means that you got a bigger selection of potential boyfriends to choose between. And for all you short boys out there are short girls like me that prefer boys who are a little bit taller than themselves, which means that it's still hope. However, height should not be a criteria girls are valuing when they are looking for a boyfriend, and if a girl doesn't accept you for your height, she's not worth it anyways. As Zadie said, it is no reason to be ashamed of your height. I just want you to feel comfortable with who you are, no matter how tall or short you are, because it doesn't matter. After all, I have to say, like my mom, it is what's inside you that counts. Your height doesn't define you as a person, and I'm pretty sure you got a lot of good qualities that the people around you appreciate. As long as you are yourself, I'm sure you're good enough just the way you are.